Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back, and we are back to Love is Blind season 5, and we are now on episode 10, which is the weddings. You know what? Why did they squeeze it out for an hour for two people, for two couples? Why did they squeeze this shit out for an hour, which could have been done in like 30 minutes? To be fair, it could have been done in 30 minutes. That's all I'm gonna say at this point. But anyway, before I get into it, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I am on and doing videos. And let's talk about this episode, shall we? So the first wedding that you see is Izzy and Stacey's. So you see Stacey waltzing in again with her bedazzled jacket saying Mrs. Or is it bride? Was it bride? No, it says bride on the back. So she's there, she's getting ready, and she's waiting for her like sisters to come through. And I have to say, her and her sisters are really close. Like seriously, they are really close. So they went through the dates that Izzy and Stacey had, from the pods all the way leading up to them basically coming to the church or the venue to get married. And basically Stacey, as she is gushing. She's saying she loves Izzy, that he's amazing, he's kind, he's thoughtful, he's giving, he's strong, and he's vulnerable. And I'm just like, it's just like you just got a list and you're reading off the list. That's all I got from that. I still don't feel it. I still don't feel it. Even this pinnacle of this point of this program, I still don't feel it between Izzy and Stacey. I really don't. I really don't feel it. And even at the beginning, I was sitting there on the sofa and saying, Stacey ain't gonna marry this man. She's gonna say all the things that she's gonna say, but she is not going to marry this man. Anyway, we shall continue. So Izzy arrives then, and basically was saying that he fell in love when he least expected it, and that Stacey challenges him, and she's fun and she's loud, but she's really tough to crack. But my thing is you say that now, but sometimes people get tired of that after a while, and I want to see what's more about this person. What's the substance of this person? How am I going to be in this for the long haul with this person? What else are they going to show me? And to be fair, I think Izzy and Stacey have got to a point where they're going to show each other just the base surface level stuff. That's how I'm seeing it. I don't really think that they've delved any deeper than the actual surface. And I think for Stacey, the sticking point for her was the conversation that she had with Izzy before they left, before the wedding day. And that was about the finances, and that was about the credit rating. I think that was definitely the sticking point for this girl. So he's with his boys, he's with his best men, he's with his family in that sense. And then he talks to them about the situation that occurred and talked to them about his credit score and what had happened. And his friends were saying to him that he's like a cool and calm guy. And this man is not a cool and calm guy. If you watch this show, you would see that this man is not a cool and calm guy. This man was crying in a closet because somebody actually told him what they were looking for in him. Somebody said that he was lacking in certain areas, and my man went and cried in a rotted cupboard thing, saying, I don't think I'm gonna be enough for you. I was like, my guy, pull your freaking big panted boxers up and get a fucking life. Give your head a freaking wobble, mate. Like seriously, it's nice to see men, don't get me wrong, it's nice to see men show their emotions. That's what we want to see. It's nice to see men show their emotions, but the reason why Izzy was showing his emotion was to emotionally manipulate Stacey, because Stacey asked the hard questions and he didn't want to answer it, so he put it all back on Stacey. That's the reason why he was crying in a rotted cupboard. So for them to say that he's a cool, calm guy, bag of bull. That's what I'm going to say, bag of bull. So then we move to Stacey, and all I'm going to say is the ironic comment that she makes at this point, where she says she sees herself marrying Izzy, but she wants to be laser focused. That's why she asks the hard questions, because she loves catching him off guard. But the key word was she sees herself marrying Izzy. But we'll deep into that, won't we? We will deep into that, won't we? Okay, because I already done said at the beginning, I said I don't see them two together. And at this point, I really believed that it would Stacey that would say no. But we will carry on, because she was saying that he's not well traveled. He's only just got his passport. I don't know, somebody, you're a grown-ass man, you only just got your passport. Like, seriously, only just got your passport? I know people who get their passport and then don't really go anywhere, and then they have to renew their passport because then they decide to go somewhere, but at least they've gotten their passport. But this man didn't have a passport at all. Like, seriously, didn't have a passport at all. And I'm like, well, what traveling has he done? Has he really gone anywhere but his own backyard, to be fair? But we'll see. We will see. I've already said that these two were surface level, and I didn't see them gelling in any way, shape or form. Basically, Stacey was talking to her mum in regards to the situation about what Izzy had told her. And basically, Stacey was saying her theory, she didn't get the whole information from him, and it wasn't like they didn't have those conversations previously, is what she was saying to her mom. And he's saying, well, if I was gonna lie about it, then I wouldn't have told you now. But the crux of it is, no, if you were being honest about it, you would have told her sooner, but you weren't being honest about it. Basically, it's not that he was directly lying to her, he just was not telling her. So it was a lie by omission, especially when she was talking about this situation time and time again with him, and he wouldn't divulge this information to her as again until the night before they were leaving out for the wedding. That's the time he divulged it with her. So basically, he's trying to say that Stacey doing this is basically always about money, but it's not about money. I'm like, if you really can't have these types of conversations, then what the hell are you doing with somebody? Because not everything is about money. It's literally about how are you going to maneuver and work within this marriage. What is it that you're bringing? What is it the other person's bringing in that sense? Like, he already knows that Stacey is set. Stacey is set. So if he got married to Stacey, if he moved in with Stacey, he would be set too. That's where it goes. He will be set to, because at the end of the day, is it that his credit rating would change if he got married to Stacey? Because her credit rating, I would assume, would be quite high in that sense. But I don't know. I don't know these things. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Like, honestly thinking out loud. He's not in tune. Them two are not in tune with each other. They're not in tune with each other at all. So then it's at this point that her mum speaks about red flags and the fact that she'd seen red flags previously I think in a relationship that she'd had. And it's when you see those red flags that you then have to make the decision, are you going to freaking take a step back at the end of the day? So my thing is are you sowing the seeds of doubt in Stacey's mind at this point, especially when you're talking about red flags? Because red flags is a big thing. Red flags is a big thing. I seen red flags in freaking Izzy from the freaking pods at the end of the day. And I'm surprised Stacey didn't. Even when it came to her going to his flat, there was red flags. Even when it came to them living with each other and her trying to have those adult discussions with him and he was crying in a closet, fucking red flags. Come on. Really? Stacey didn't see those? But hey ho, we live and we learn. So then it moves over to Izzy, and basically Izzy's decided that he's gonna write Stacey a letter, because at the end of the day, this is what she likes, and she's been asking him for this for quite a while. So he does it off his own back this time, and his best man helps him to do that. So as she's talking about, oh, she doesn't know how she's feeling and everything's up in the air and all she needs is a sign, best man walks in at that point. The producers are good. Producers are really good. Best man walks in at the point that she's questioning everything, isn't it? Gives her the freaking letter and she reads it out. And it is one of them freaking pain in the ass poems that they would normally do to each other, and like when they're speaking to each other, they sometimes go off into poem form and rhyme and verse what they're saying to each other. That's a them thing. Like, that is really a them thing at the end of the day. It would get on my tits, but that's really a them thing. And basically she's then talking about how she was feeling a certain way, and then the best man walks in. I'm like, yeah, it's good how the universe that works out that way, producers, isn't it? It's really good how the universe works out that way, producers. I mean, couldn't question that, could ya? The one thing I was thinking about is, like, when she was sitting there in her wedding gown and her dad was coming in and this, that and the other, I'm just like, don't they think it's weird to, like, get dressed up in this, have this venue, have all your family and friends at this wedding for the potential for you to say no? I think it's really weird, because I'll be saying to my family member, hear me out, I love you to bits. I'll be saying to them, I love you to bits, but I can't sit there knowing if that dude or that girl or whoever says no and they fucking hurt you, that I ain't gonna get up and do something. That's the problem. So all I would say to them is, make sure you don't invite me. I love ya, I'll watch you on TV, but don't invite me. If you do get married and you end up staying married, 2 years down the line you decide to do the whole scenario again in that sense, then invite me to that one. That's what I would say. Invite me to that one. Don't invite me to this one, because I'm liable to hurt someone if they hurt you. That's all I'm saying. I am liable to hurt someone if they hurt you. That is all I am saying. So then we get to the nitty gritty with Izzy and Stacey. We get to the nitty gritty. I'm already knowing in my mind from the beginning, I'm saying this girl's gonna say no. She gonna say no. I didn't expect anything else. I did not expect anything else. So to say their vows, and then they start to say listen then to what the person is saying in regards to it coming, you know, about the whole sight unseen thing and what they're going to say. And it's at this point you kind of see Stacey kind of break eye contact with Izzy, because Izzy says a emphatic I do. I was quite shocked by that. I shouldn't have been shocked by that, to be fair, because of course he'd have leveled up. He'd have leveled up in that sense if he did marry Stacey, to be fair. But when it came to Stacey, I was like, yes, they're doing the dramatic thing. It's taking long and this, that and the other. I thought, here it goes. This girl ain't going to say yes. She's not going to say yes. And she didn't. She said no. But basically she was saying it on the guise of that they need more time. That she loves him, she does love him dearly, and she does want to be with him, but she wants to be with him outside of this process, is what she's saying. But she was saying that she needs more time. Now, my thing is you're going on this program because you know you don't have much time. That's the key focus. It's a sped up version in order to get to the place that you want to be. Now, Izzy took it like a champ at first. Took it like a champ at first, and the only reason why I say at first is because he took it like a champ, because he was saving face and he was going to protect Stacey from his Aya. He took it like a champ, and then he walks off and starts to have this conversation with his mum, and this is where all the shit starts coming out about how he feels. And this man changed his tune about Stacey at that point. Absolutely changed his tune about Stacey at that point. So I knew at this point, it don't matter what you said on that altar, my girl, you two are not going to have a relationship after this program. Like, seriously, you're not going to have a relationship after this program, because don't forget, in the first instances, Izzy's fear was fear of abandonment. So he is going to believe that Stacey abandoned him at the most pinnacle time of his life, where after he said I do at the altar, like he was ready to throw all in with this girl, only to have an emphatic no thrown back at his face. So there was going to be no relationship between them two. I mean, let's be honest, there was going to be no relationship between them two, either at the altar or after the altar. There wasn't going to be. Izzy said what he said to save face at the end of the day, because he, at that point in time, don't forget, his adrenaline must have been running. She just broke his motherfucking heart in his world. She'd broke his heart. So his adrenaline would have been running to the point where he wouldn't have been thinking clearly. It's only until the point that he will get down, sit down, have that conversation with his mum, and then be able to sit and start processing and thinking, and then that's when all his thoughts will come with him, to the point of anger as well, to be fair, because he just started to battle. He started to battle Stacey at the end of the day. He really did. He really did, because he's saying it, for him to put all in, all the rest of it didn't matter. But it does matter in the grand scheme of things. It really does matter in the grand scheme of things, and that's where Stacey was coming from. So he decided to go a little bit down the insulting route when she said, well, you're still 33 and not married. Why is that, when you've had these other geezers who's like 40 odd and this odd that didn't marry you, or have done certain things and still didn't marry you? And I thought, now you're being a little bit petty, my guy. Now you're being a little bit petty. At the end of the day, there was no need for that. At the end of the day, yes, we know you're upset. Yes, we know she busted your clout when she said no. We know this. We know this, and we know there was going to be some fallout somewhere once you started to process your feelings in that regard. But there was no need for you to start getting petty, bearing in mind, not so few minutes ago, you were telling this girl how much you loved her, and the fact that you decided that you would work this out with her, and you would have this life with her outside of this experiment. But also then with Stacey as well, when she said, when she said she needed time, this experiment doesn't give you that time. It doesn't afford you that time, and you know this going in. You know this going in. But then this is where I always say that people should be prepared as much as you can prepare for someone to say no up there, and how you're going to react and feel at that point in time. You should be prepared for a no. Don't assume you are going to get a yes, because you're not always going to get the person that you're thinking you're going to get. Everything is face value at the end of the day. It's only those true ones that literally will show themselves of who they are, and you'll get that solid connection with them, with Brittany, with Bliss and Zach, and then with the Hamiltons. That until you have that solid connection with someone, even in that short space of time, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's not. So then we get on to Lydia and Milton, and now it's their turn. And all I kept on thinking from this one is, I really do want these to get married, but if someone's going to say no, it was probably going to be Milton that was going to say no, and Lydia was going to get her heart broke. But I wanted these two to work out so bad. Like, seriously, I wanted them to work out so bad. So Lydia is basically singing Milton's praises, and that she's 100% certain she found someone amazing. But I would say Lydia didn't think that at first. Like, it came to her slowly. She didn't think that at first about Milton, because Lydia was about Izzy, and then it wasn't until Izzy threw her to the wind that she decided to put her stock in Milton. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. She didn't see Milton's attributes until after Izzy decided to dash her to the wind at the end of the day. So you see her family come in as she's getting ready and stuff like that, and she talks about her past relationships, and she likens Uche to Voldemort. I loved it. Like the name that should never be spoken, she likened him to Voldemort at the end of the day. And I thought, my dude must be absolutely kicking himself, because he didn't get what he wanted. He didn't get what he wanted by coming in between these two, did he? No, he did not. No, he absolutely did not. So basically he moves to Milton and his friends, and they're all coming in, and they're basically, Milton's getting his hair cut done by the barber and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's good. Get them edges shaped up, my guy. Get them edges shaped up. Make sure you're looking your best for your woman. And then they said to Milton like how he was feeling, and it was the longest pause ever. I'm like, Milton, come on, the man, come on. And then he said he's feeling gooch, and I was like, what the fuck does feeling gooch mean, for fuck's sake? Because if I say the words gooch magooch, that actually means you nev-nevs, like you nev-nevs. No, you can't be feeling gooch. But then I suppose it means something completely different in America, doesn't it, to be fair? And you can give me answers on a postcard on what does feeling gooch mean. So basically he then spoke to his friends about the worry that he has in regards to how emotional Lydia gets, and spoke about the issue between what happened with her and Uche. And he's basically saying that if you get that emotional, then you're not able to step back and be quite calculated in your thinking in terms of what steps are you going to make next. But what I've already said is Milton can't judge everybody by his same yardstick at the end of the day. Everyone's going to react differently in every given situation. So he can't expect Lydia to act the same way that he does in a situation, because he's learned to be able to shut his emotions off completely, to the point that this man's like a stone wall. This man's like a stone wall, and that's the environment he's growing up in that sense. Lydia hasn't grown up in that environment. Lydia's growing up in an environment that is much express yourself, basically, whether it's good or bad, express yourself, so people know where you are and what you're thinking at any given time. So he can't expect Lydia to be able to just fucking shut that off like that. He can't, and that's a very high expectation in my estimations for him to make. So then Milton turns around and says that he needs to write his vows, and I was like, Lord Jesus, you get to your wedding day and you still need to, you didn't even prepare for your vows. My God, this is the 24 in him. That's how I'm going to say it. This is the 24 in Milton. He didn't even have the time in which to write his vows. So then my dude empties out his backpack on the floor. And I'm like, is this dude a dentist? Like, for real? All this shit came out. It was my father that had to tell me that that was actual, like, dental floss and everything else that was in his backpack. And I was like, oh, my Lord. Yes. Welcome to the world. This is Milton. Welcome to the world. So this is why I say these two do actually complement each other. They really do actually complement each other. And Lydia then highlighted the fact that in her past relationships, she was selecting people that didn't have room for her. Yeah, Uche. Yeah, she meant you in that past relationships. She meant you. Because again, she was singing the praises of Milton and what he does for her. And you see, but the difference between Milton and Lydia and Izzy and Stacey, with Milton and Lydia, you see it. You see that connection. You see how he springs to life with her. You see how he complements her, how they complement each other. To be fair, they have the same interests, they have the same background when it comes to work and the education that they've had in that regard, and they're able to just like communicate, like they can really communicate with each other and bounce off each other. Whereas with Stacey and Izzy, it's just wooden. It's like they're reading from a script. And as I said, I didn't see it with them two. So it didn't surprise me when Stacey said no. So then we see Milton with his dad. And Milton's dad brings in the cufflinks and basically said to Milton that he'll see if Mum would allow him to have those cufflinks because she'd brought them. Now, this is where I'm saying there's no emotional warmth. He didn't give his son a hug. He didn't give his son a handshake. Nothing. And then kind of sowed seeds of doubt in Milton's head at that point, because even down to the fact where he said, like, you know, in the first 2 years everything's great, you have your honeymoon years and this, that and the other. Granted, that may be correct. And Milton was like, really, 2 years, it's just a honeymoon? And he was like, yeah, but after that you have to make sure you communicate and don't take anything for granted and learn to fight for you. But then I'm like, well, what is good for you doesn't necessarily mean it's the way that Milton's going to go. Milton and Lydia are going to navigate their own marriage and their own relationship in their own way at the end of the day. And it's like key points when he says to Milton that I know that you've seen the fights me and your mum had in that sense, and Milton says, but that's yours and Mum's relationship, that's not going to be my relationship that I have with my wife. And Milton was right about that. Milton was right. He's not going to take what what he perceived and what he saw at that point in time growing up between his mum and dad into his own relationship at the end of the day, which is a good move to make. And I just felt that they were so cold and indifferent with each other. But then I think that's how they work within their family dynamic in that sense. But with Milton, it's going to be completely different with someone like Lydia, because Lydia is the type of person to give hugs, to give kisses, to give cuddles, to do all of this. She is that type of person where she will open her arms and her heart up wide for the person that she's dealing with or the person that she's in love with, aka Milton. And that's something that Milton is going to get used to, and he is going to love. He is going to love it. So then we see them get to the altar. And somebody tell me, why was Milton sweating like a whore in a church house? Like, that man was sweating. Not sweating, but sweating. Oh, Lord. And I was waiting for this because I was sitting there like, please, Milton, please say yes. Please say yes. Please say yes. Please say yes. Lydia said yes. And I was like, please say yes, please. And he did. He said, I do. I was so happy. Like, you don't understand my joy. You don't understand my joy. When I was saying I was so happy that he said yes, I did spring a little bit of a tear. I ain't gonna lie. I did spring a little bit of a tear because I was like, I was shipping so hard. I was like really wanting them to be together. And it is a bit sad that they're the only couple that got married out of everybody. Like, seriously. I'm like, so are they going to give up Love is Blind, or are they going to keep going? Because they're not having a good track record from the last series, to be fair, are they? One couple. Like, seriously, one couple. So then it kind of files back to Izzy. And basically Izzy's sitting there and talking to the cameras in regards to what he's thinking and feeling at the end of the day. And then he basically said that he put everything aside in terms of what people face in the real world. He deserves the effort that he put in to feel reciprocated. But this is the problem. Stacey didn't feel that you put the effort in, and this is what she was trying to have the conversation with you about. And then you blotted like the man-child that you are, because you didn't want to confront the hardness well, it wasn't even a hardness. You didn't want to confront in what she was saying, because it was, I think, a judgment on your character. That's the only way I can see it. He felt it was an attack on his character. Someone was coming for him to say that he wasn't doing as much as what he could have been doing. Now, all she wanted was reciprocation, especially in terms of the thoughts and presentation that she put into everything that she did for him. But he didn't see it like that. He didn't see it like that at all. All he saw it was now is that they got to the altar, he said yes, and Stacey abandoned him. That's all Izzy is going to be able to see, and it isn't going to come back from at the end of the day. So then after that, it kind of slips through to all of the other people that took part within the process, like Taylor, JP, Uche, Aaliyah, and X, Y, and Z, basically, and them talking about what the experience has brought them. I ain't gonna go through it because I think it's a load of bollocks at the end of the day. I do think it's a load of bollocks at the end of the day. But it then ends on Lydia and Milton having their kisses, like having their party, being one with each other, and then Lydia and Milton talking, and Milton turns around and says that Lydia's English is so bad. And I'm like, you know what, we were all thinking the same thing, because even when Lydia said her vows, because she adds extra vowels onto her speech pattern, and I was sitting there and I was like, huh? And then she said a saying next to Milton, and then he turned around and said, your English is so bad. And she was like, what? No, it isn't. I'm like, yeah, it is. It actually is. It actually is. Don't get me wrong. There's certain parts where I can understand what the hell Lydia is saying, but there's certain parts where I'm lost, like completely lost. But anyway, I have had fun watching these episodes, and I know that the reunion is going to be back on this 15th or the 16th of October, I want to say. But I will be watching it, and thank God it won't be live, because there's shit at live stuff, so it won't be live. but I will be back to talk about that at a later date, because as I said from the beginning, I am now going to get back into my Married at First Sight UK. So all of you, meet me back here at the same place. As I always say before I go, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I am on and doing videos, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Peace out.